Grand day. Welcome to Healing Hype Man. My name is Alvin. Message of the day. Let's dive in. We're going to use the Osho Zen. Let's get an understanding of where we're at. You see the title here, so you know before I do. Exhaustion. Okay. Having an exhausted week? Are we having... Let's just kind of keep going in. Moment to moment. Here's exhaustion. Look at how so much machinery and there's a person through a window. Looks defeated. I could say there might be moments in life moments in life, moment to moment. Okay, let's keep going here. Give me a second. Transformation. You know what? When you get pressed up to a certain point, when you're living life moment to moment, and you feel exhausted, you really do test your resolve to handle situations, handle conflict, make decisions, make choices. And if you think about it, when we're exhausted, we're making choices from not a clear space, right? So sometimes that can also feel like we're not in our prime. I'm not in my power. I'm not at my best, right? I could truly resonate with that. When I'm not at my best, it's a little bit more difficult and challenging to make decisions, but then you do make those decisions and you continue to live life moment to moment. And then you realize that it's not about always living life in sunshine, rainbows, and lollipops, that even not on your best day, you still know where you stand. You still know where you're going. You still know what you're doing, what your purpose is, what direction you're going in, right? Why you're doing what you're doing. You have some sort of, maybe you have a goal, maybe you don't, but at least what you're doing is going forward. Chariot. Chariot cards coming to mind because I tried to pull a reading earlier today and there's a lot of Cancer energy. Let's keep going here. Playfulness. All right. Well, it's interesting we go from exhaustion to playfulness. I wish that you can see this because it's like, that doesn't make sense, Alvin. I feel like pulling one more. Control. We'll use this. Friendliness at the bottom of the deck. We'll keep that into consideration. So, you could take this as, I don't know, what's coming towards me. A message that Alvin's just putting out to the collective here. We do these. How's the sound? We do these. Okay. Well, it's on. Let's hope it goes through. We transform. We really test ourselves, and sometimes the spirit loves to test us. Yes, he does. Yes, she does. They, them, who, we, energy, spirit loves to test us, right? Let's clarify these here, right? So we're testing our resolve. Alvin, repeat yourself once more, please. Your Chiron, your Chiron and Gemini is screaming right now. So, all right, exhaustion, living moment to moment. I'm doing what I need to do. Then I transform because I realize that I actually am capable of doing what I need to do when it's not always sunshine, rainbows, and lollipops. Then life becomes a little bit more playful, and then life becomes a little bit more playful. We learn to let go. Maybe I was taking things too seriously. Maybe the things that got me to this exhausted state, to this place of feeling confined in a box, actually was too rigid, too much control here at the end, right? So once we start having fun, then we let things go. Then you also, in the playfulness, then you start seeing things like, oh, wow, this is working. This is nice. Yes, it is flowing a little bit easier because you're having fun. And then you realize, well, why don't I bring this fun back to where it all started and maybe let go of control? Was I holding on to so much, even though I got to my same destination that I wanted? So perhaps I should consider being a little bit more playful. And that's the transformative experience that you're realizing. Maybe we're too strict with ourselves. Maybe we're putting ourselves in a box. Are we exhausting ourselves to a point that's not actually necessary? And I could truly resonate with that. I was working way too hard to get the same result when I did things in a natural state. Right? So let's clarify why these are all here. Exhaustion, clarifying the Eight of Wands, the Empress, Two of Cups, King of Pentacles. This is all big energy. Nine of Cups. Of course it's big energy. Ten of Pentacles. Because you know what? You are committed. What are you committed to? This journey, this life, right? So now clarifying these, this will get a little bit more detaily, a little bit more spicy for you, right? And maybe this might make more sense if you don't understand that metaphoric component. I know that's not for everyone. Some people get it, some people don't. The metaphoric concept of like exhaustion, living moment to moment, transforming, realizing that I'm doing it too much, so I pull back, and then control gets pulled back, and then I realize things are still ending, and I'm still getting the same result. If you didn't get that, here we go. We're gonna dive deeper. Exhaustion with 8 of Wands. So things are moving fast, right? I'm exhausted because I'm moving too fast, right? That's gonna be a message for each of you, and there could very well be 5 messages here. So we're going to take it group by group. So exhaustion. Why one might be exhausted? Well, let me ask you, are you moving too fast? Are you focusing all your attention in one area of your life or in one direction, right? And if we're doing that as one would, I'm focusing everything on my job, so I'm distracted. I'm not paying attention to my relationship sector, or I'm too focused on my relationship sector and I'm not focused on my job, right? There's an energy here of like exhaustion can lead when the energy is so focused and forced in one direction. You know, sometimes I can speak to neurodivergence, like, you know, a little bit of attention here, then I move it over here. You know, like, okay, let's take little breaks from things, right? Maybe pulling back from the big picture, right? When they say when you're stressed, you hit a writer's block of some kind, or you get stuck. What's the advice? Okay, we'll step back for a little bit, right? After every 90-minute cycle from studying, take a break. Right? Moment to moment with the Empress. We're living moment to moment. We're trying to increase our level of status. We're trying to take ourselves to a whole nother place, a whole nother. This reminds me of climbing up the ladder, right? I might be exhausted, but I'm still trying to climb up the ladder. That's called life. Life be lifing. You know, and I started saying that about a month ago. I would not recommend saying that out loud. Well, I know that those were also learning lessons because life lifed. And this reminds me of like life keeps lifing, life keeps going forward, right? And with the Empress, it also just tells me that you're learning a lot, right? You're bringing a lot into fruition, moment to moment, right? One step at a time brings you to this level of status, to this ability to bring things to life, right? This fertile energy, this position of power where you're sitting on the throne and others are coming to you, asking you what to do. But we have to go moment to moment, step by step, stone by stone, so that we can then get there. While we're exhausted. Let's not forget that. Transformation. 2 of Cups. This is reminding me of like your relationship to you, right? And then what's the transformation when you realize like, wow, my relationship and how I do things, the relationship and the dynamic in which I have my interpersonal skills, right? What is it that transforms? It's how you treat yourself. This is you and your higher self. This is you and your past self. This is you and your partner, how you treat other people. What you realize what's really transforms in your life is a version of you stepping into another version of you and your higher self. Right? Okay. I might be talking really loud in this, or it's not loud enough. It's another version of you that elevates, right? Because you're still going to go and do the same tasks. You're still going to do the same tasks that brought you to exhaustion, that you were focusing on too much energy there. But now you might actually focus like less, a little bit less. Right? So what changed? The situation didn't change. You did. Right? Well, I think if you can embody and understand like, oh, I am actually always changing. Like every day you wake up, you've transformed. As long as you're taking yesterday's information into, I feel like I'm a data collector. I just got like this visual of like a processor, like AI. Like, take yesterday's information and bring it into today. Like, yeah. We got a new upgrade on like the mental health world and like AI. And I've never used it until like literally an hour ago, and the newer version. I've never used it. And like I didn't have to do anything. because it already had my old data, my old notes, my old information. So it knew exactly how I would write. So it's just wild to me. I was like, wait, I don't have to fix the format? Like, you know how long it took me to get that question and that format correct? Now you have a new version and now I don't have to do anything. Like, okay, I mean, that makes sense. That's how it should. I'm hesitant to say that. That's not how it should be, but maybe that's how we should consider things here, right? Like, you do transform on a daily basis. Yesterday's information is today's. Yesterday's information and knowledge is today's wisdom and insight. I'm going to say it differently. Yesterday's information, insight, and knowledge is today's wisdom. But it's tomorrow's. Ooh, that's a good statement to finish. But tomorrow, what would that be for tomorrow? Interesting. All right, back on track here. Playfulness. Playfulness with the King of Pentacles. This is, I don't know, there's like a seriousness with such a, we're playing with our stability in some way. I want to play with this. Yeah, I do want to play with this here. Ten of Pentacles. I'm going to keep that here on the bottom. Wow, that's for later. Clarify this King of Pentacles and playfulness, right? So why playfulness is here is because, well, okay, let's look at that. The King of Pentacles. Why playfulness is here? Because you've been too serious. Maybe you've been really trying to secure the bag, your stability, your foundation. I don't think that's a bad thing here, but notice how we were coming from feeling so exhausted and living moment to moment that perhaps this is actually telling us like, well, because you've come from a solid foundation, a stable ground, right? You've actually, and I wonder if this is also saying like, things actually might be more stable than you think. So you might not need to exhaust yourself. So don't forget to be playful and have fun, right? Like really learn to assess like when things are actually good, you know? I experienced that one time. I was like, oh, wait, Alvin, things are actually good. Four of Swords. It's clarifying this, right? Rest. Okay, see? Yeah, like, okay, perfect. Thank you. Right? So, you know, playfulness with the King of Pentacles. It's like things were actually solid and secure, and now we're being asked to just have a little bit of like fun with it. And then the Four of Swords is literally telling me, like, take a break. Take a break. Right? Go and meditate for some of those of you that might want that if you consider that to be a break for you, right? If your mind is that consumed that you need that mental chatter clarity, right? And that's also a card of just like taking a break, rest, recovery, recharge. For me, recharging is being playful, to be very honest. Dancing my life away like it's the end of my life. I swear, like I'm like a ceremonial. When I dance, I almost like envision like ceremonies taking place. Like I wonder if I like heal people through dancing as I visualize them. Like that's a way for me to reset, recharge. Throwing that out there. And then with control, why is this here? The card of contentment, the card of emotional satisfaction and happiness, and feeling emotionally fulfilled here, right? And in this context here, well, perhaps some of us might actually feel fulfilled when we have things in control. That's for some. If you got a Pisces North node, your soul mission here is to let go, right? And I think that me being the reader, and yeah, I read how I read and I give the information how I give it, I don't want you to be in control of everything. I'd rather you be emotionally satisfied than in control. Because when you're in control of your emotions, emotional intelligence, right? Self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, and social skills, when you're in control of your emotions, emotional intelligence, you can control a room, you can control a situation, you can control the direction you're going, you can control what you're working on. Maybe that's a message there. Like if you would like to see emotional intelligence workshop, let me know down in the comments. I have one ready to go. Yep. Highly consider putting that out for you guys if that's something that you want. Right? You can also YouTube it here on lovely old YouTube. Everybody's on YouTube. I'm going to do shit my way. Right. So where does this bring us? This brings us to the 10 of Pentacles and the six of Wands. committed, accomplished, success, victory, praise, right? Are we praising ourselves? This feels like it's a journey of like realizing like maybe I might have been doing a lot. Maybe I might have been moving too fast. Maybe I have been diminishing. Every day I wake up, I'm not really acknowledging that I'm better than I was yesterday and transformed in some way. And am I bringing yesterday's BS into today's fresh energy? Am I taking things too seriously in some way? I know this is not for everyone because some people really need to take things seriously, and I don't see it that way. I've actually seen people be debilitated by how much things they by them needing control in their life so much. And I know people that are exhausted, like worse than this, like way beat up more than her. I'm gonna put her real close, like worse, yet they still don't think that they can or deserve a break. I just been in those positions of like pushing myself so much. And anyway, so Alvin, are you going to repeat what you saw here? I don't know. I feel like there might have been 5 different components here. I feel like this is just something that maybe this very well could be the collective. Exhaustion and living takes me to the same place as being playful and letting go. So would you want to put that strain on your body if you know that you're still going to get to your outcome? Do you have that much faith? Do you trust that the world is spinning in your favor? Do you trust that the whatever might be exhausting you, barriers, moments that redirect you, uncertainty, do you trust that those are taking you to the same destination as if you were in control? And right, when you think you're not in control, you think that you're not going where you want to go, but you're going where you need to go in order to get to where you need to get. This is metaphors. If you get it, you get it. If you don't. What flew out? Feeling sexy. Well, that's the weekend vibe here. It's from the Hype Man deck here. We're going to pull some oracle cards. Feeling sexy, right? So that's sacral energy. That is passion. That is fire. That's fire energy there, right? But I put in feeling sexy because sexual energy can be creative energy, and sexual energy is creative energy. If you know, you know. And well, let's see what else wants to come through. This one is calling my name. So rewind, right? We're revisiting something, and you don't put a bumper sticker on a Bentley. You know your worth here. With feeling sexy here. If I really were to look at this, I would say tap back into your worth. Do you have that self-worth? Do you understand the value that you bring to the table, you bring for yourself, most importantly? Right? Can you tell me those things? And I know I'm talking to like different people. I always think of my clients, and I'm like, they're like on so many different spectrums. While some may have that and understand that, others don't understand where to get that from. Others have never experienced that from the countries that they're from. I urge you to, I'm going to say this, fall in love with yourself. Your beautiful self, your sexy self, your own self. And and rewind. This just came to me here too. Some of you might, self-worth. Some of you might be regretting the version of you in the past. Some of you might want to take off the bumper stickers that you put on yourself. Oh my God. And you know how you got to where you are today. And I feel like there might be some, what do we call that? I don't want to say regret or shame, but I'm going to say regret or shame right? Of a version of you in the past that you might have put bumper stickers, labels on, and you might be actually suppressing that side of you. Every single part of you. And I look at this and I'm like, oh, the sexy part, the the part that was promiscuous, or the part of you that was, I'm going to do this way, the part of you that never took action, that didn't do anything in their life, or the part of you that was poor and you shamed the poor side of you, the part of you that never had good interpersonal relationships, the part of you that never kept your mouth shut, that was always talking, the part of you that never had any money, or the part of you that was always unhappy, right? Those might be old versions of you. Because you wouldn't be finding Healing Hype Man if you're not in some sort of new version of yourself. Right? But I want to urge you that these parts of you also want some attention, some praise, because they got you to where you are today. So do you like where you are today? Well, you're on a healing journey. You're watching me. You have to be on some sort of healing journey, right? So don't forget about those parts of you. All of these, I put them in reverse and as metaphorically to imply like those old parts of you that, because these are all great cards, old parts of you that you might have put bumper stickers on and labels on. And I feel like those bumper stickers and labels that you put on old versions of you have brought you to the Bentley that you are now. Cautious of what sticker you put on you. Cautious of who you hang around. Cautious of where you go. But don't shame that old part of you. That's what got you here today. Caution, check your personal brand. We're talking about brand. We're talking about you. I think you transform every day. You realize more about yourself. Your beliefs very well could be changing here, right? Like, I don't need to do all that in order to be what I want to be. I can leave that right there. That's another aspect. I see this. I don't need to do all that and run myself to the ground and fight my old self and fight my new self in order to be how I want to be. Caution, check your personal brand. If you wake up every day and you take one step moment to moment towards what it is that you think you want or what direction you want, you're at least still in line, no matter if you get detoured or redirected. I'm going to leave it right there. My name is Alvin Catalan. I'm present. I'm done speaking now.